Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at something a bit different to the channel, and that is Domination mode for Warhammer 3. Now, I've done quite a few casts before, of course, you know, with Company of Heroes and such, but I've never casted Total War. But I'm definitely going to be getting more into casting these type of games, these domination games. So what is domination? Well, if you hadn't seen my previous video, which I believe I would have uploaded prior to this, domination mode is essentially an objective-based game for Total War. It comes in, it's the first time that they added this in for a Total War game, and it's very interesting. So of course you have 3 objectives, 1, 2, and 3, and they essentially, when they unlock after 3 minutes, you have to capture them with your infantry, and or not just infantry, but your units. Flying units can't capture. Remember, flying units cannot capture, so you can with all your land units. But yeah, so all different land units have different value, like weight values and capping. So for example, troops can cap faster than, let's say, a lord or something like that. So there's a lot more dynamic to this. But today we got a match up against KHORNE versus TZEENTCH, and we'll take a look at the armies now, or at least the starting armies. So KHORNE is bringing a exalted bloodthirst, a very potent flying monster. You definitely want to bring one of these boys when you bring KHORNE, or at least right now it's the kind of the meta is to bring a exalted bloodthirster with double cultist. But we don't see the double cultist in this battle. We actually see another bloodthirster, but rather the normal version, not the exalted version. As well as the bloodthirsters, we do have the skull cannon, who's already opening fire onto the blue horrors over there. And to back them up, we have some Chaos Warriors of KHORNE with the dual weapons, which is an odd choice. Curious how these guys go. You typically will bring either the halberd units or the shielded variants, but we'll see how well these guys do against the hordes of TZEENTCH. But yeah, let's take a look at TZEENTCH's army. So TZEENTCH is bringing a herald of TZEENTCH as his leader. He can really get those magic down. It's very fast. Let's see what kind of spells he's got. So he's got the blue fire of TZEENTCH, which is he's going to be using that against probably the exalted bloodthirster or the normal bloodthirster. It's essentially just a big flame missile. So he's got pink fire of TZEENTCH, which again is another flame breath spell, very potent against your battle lines. And yeah. Looks like that's what he's got, on here. Oh, he's got the chromatic tome, which increases power recharge. Yeah, so TZEENTCH is all about that magic and range ability, whereas KHORNE is all about that get in your face and, you know, get those blood and skulls, right? But with the exalted, the Herald of TZEENTCH, he's bringing some pink horrors of TZEENTCH with double soul grinders. So double soul grinder is interesting. I actually haven't seen much use of the soul grinders in my games. We'll see how they do. These were versions that they do have a little range weapon, English Nathan, a range weapon that they can fire at the enemy. I haven't seen them much, so I can't really comment on how potent they are. I've seen some Nurgle versions which are quite strong. I'm not sure how these guys are. And then what else do we have? There's some blue horrors. So this is kind of fairly standard from a TZEENTCH play. You're going to get some horrors with their shield, because as you notice, TZEENTCH has their shield that replenishes. So the way you want to play TZEENTCH ideally is kind of micro around that. Maybe a good micro player, you know, if you're good at microing, you can kind of play around the shield, you know, come in and out of combat. But of course, this could be a straight up slugfest with KHORNE coming on in. Let's increase the speed. So of course, you can spawn in different reinforcements when you've got the points over here, the supply rather. And the supply ticks up with 16 base, and if you start getting behind points, I don't know what the specifics is. I think it's about 4,000. It's like 1.5k difference or so. I don't know the specifics. I haven't checked out right away right now. But yeah, when you're behind enough, you'll get an increase of your supplies. There's a bit of a combat mechanic in this. But we do see the Herald of TZEENTCH firing at the blood Bloodthirster, the normal Bloodthirster, kind of lingering. A lot of damage dealt onto this Bloodthirster already. These Soul Grinders doing a lot of damage to them, as with the Herald. And considering this isn't a cheap unit, for him to take half of his health loss already before the game's even started, pretty much, is quite big. Even the Exalted version now has taken a bit of damage. So we do also have some units getting targeted. The ghoul weapons, they don't have the shields, and they're going to get munched on by this, I guess, these warp-fired weaponry from the Herald. I think the Sword Coins are shooting at them as well. So we do have some Bloodletters of KHORNE spawned in. So the Bloodletters of KHORNE are very strong if they get into melee. They're great sword units, and they munch on infantry. Generally, like I said, you often see the cultists who can spawn these in instead of you actually deploying them. They're quite expensive. I think they're around 1,000 to spawn in. I could be wrong about that though. But I think it is around 1,000. Again, I'm not I'm still quite new to this, so I'll hopefully in the future get better at this, casting these games. We do have the blue horrors, or rather the pink horrors, firing at the Bloodletters, which should do some damage on them. These, again, there's no shields here or any defense against range. A lot of damage dealt onto those Bloodletters there. There we go. It's going to get munched on as they come up this hill by these pink horrors. We do see a Flamer of TZEENTCH on the field, which is very strong against infantry, and and KHORNE really suffers from these Flamers. But we do have the Exalted Bloodthirster coming on in onto the Flamers, but the pink horrors are trying to get some damage dealt onto them. The Herald of TZEENTCH is kind of just chilling on here in his little disc.
Keep it from the foe.
The north side objective was captured by KHORNE, while the south has been captured by TZEENTCH. You remember, you don't have to hold both, you only have to hold two, so you don't necessarily have to go for all objectives. So the Exalted Bloodthirster is actually going for the Herald of TZEENTCH now, which isn't the best target when you get him munched on by all these ranged targets. This Exalted Bloodthirster are actually really taking a lot of damage. So we have the Bloodletters of KHORNE really just disintegrating now. They didn't really get they didn't get a single kill, so these pink horrors just kind of carried them to death, especially with these Flamers of TZEENTCH. Flamers of TZEENTCH so strongly against KHORNE.
One of your units has been destroyed.
Where are these Warhounds? You got one unit of Flesh Hounds. This is why you want to kind of see early on. Flesh Hounds of KHORNE and Warhounds of KHORNE. If you want to get these out so you can counter these backline range weapons of TZEENTCH. TZEENTCH is a very range-heavy faction. So you really want those fast units to get around and attack the flanks. These Flesh Hounds are very strong with their high AP, 22 AP weapon damage as well as 43 base. So strong against these backline infantry. You do have the Skull Cannon coming in trying to get some damage on these pink horrors. But now we do have the Doom Knights coming on in from behind, rear charge. Doom Knight's going to get a great charge with the Flesh Hounds, and those Flesh Hounds aren't going to have a good time. Do see the Exalted Bloodthirster right now AFK in a bit. There's finally coming on in. Okay, so let's have a look what's happening. We have the more Flesh Hounds not doing too much. Again, these Flesh Hounds not getting that much value right now. The second unit, or the third unit by now, the Flesh Hounds, trying to deal with these Soul Grinders, while the Chaos Warriors with Dual Axe not really getting into the combat. I believe we've got some more Bloodletters spawned in to attack the Exiled Pink Horrors. They aren't going to have a good time. The Pink Horrors, they're going to get munched on. And more Flesh Hounds coming on in onto the Blue Horrors. This is what I want to see early on, spawn these fast attack units around the flanks and stop these Blue Horrors from, dealing with what's in the main battle. So KHORNE seems to be seemingly losing this engagement down south. The Except the first set is getting munched on by this range and does get taken out by the Herald of Tzeentch as well as the pink horrors. The Doomites have taken out the Flesh Hounds onto the north point. In the meanwhile, the mid has just been captured by the KHORNE. We do have Bloodletters being spawned in by KHORNE. Again, I'm not sure about this choice here because the Bloodletters are just getting munched on by all the range options that Tzeentch have. You got the blue horrors, you got the pink horrors, you've got the flamers of Tzeentch. You know, you got more horrors. They're just, yeah, even the soul grinders, which have used their ammo, at least one, yeah, both of them have used their ammo. Let's see how much kills they've got actually. 25 and 27. Not like amazing, but not bad at all, especially considering that, you know, they can get into melees. You know, they're great melee unit. So the Bloodletters are going straight into the soul grinders. Maybe we'd like to see something with, like, you know, maybe like some halberds, some chaos warriors with halberds or something to deal with these units, because they are large entities. Yeah, using these anti-infantry Bloodletters against the soul grinders are probably a good choice for KHORNE here. Let's have a look at an overview of the map. Right now, KHORNE is not having a good time. You can see that he only has, what, 3 units, or I guess you can count this. He does spawn another unit. What's he brought in? He's brought some more Flesh Hounds, which, again, isn't a bad choice either. With the high AP damage and the fast movement, you can get into the flanks of these horrors and such. These Flamers of Tzeentch once again opening on these Bloodletters of KHORNE, and again, these aren't gonna have a good time. Don't keep spawning Bloodletters if you feel like that you're gonna get outranged. They are going to win against these pink horrors, but while this is happening, the rest are just munching on them. The Herald is out opening fire with some spells onto them, and now the Bloodletters of KHORNE half health already. We're looking at the points right now. It is in favor of KHORNE right now. Yes, I think green is Tzeentch and red is KHORNE. My apologies. The thing about the replay system right now is it only shows you from one perspective, not both, so I can't see everything. But yeah, that's my bad. My apologies. Anyway, so these soul grinders once again mentioned as Bloodletters. I'm curious if the KHORNE player has some halberds in his roster. You definitely want to keep some Chaos Warrior halberds in your roster, just in case you got these big single entity units. So these Flesh Hounds are getting munched on and slowly going to get took apart. The Pink Arrows are trying to back out of the engagement. No, they're staying in. They don't care. Screaming at those Flesh Hounds. In the meanwhile, we have more Flesh Hounds here, quite low life. But remember, in this game mode, you can actually send back units to your reinforcement pool so they can heal, because units do once they die, they do slowly heal over time. So, you know, if you for example lose massively early on with your engagements, you're not running out of troops. They still come back eventually. So we do have the Bloodthirster coming back onto the field. He did die in fairly early, so he has healed up and is ready to come back and say hello. Will he do more this time than he did the first time he's here? No, he's getting munched on by all these flames of Tzeentch right now. Everywhere is shooting at him. But he's a big boy, he can take it. But these soul grinders here. Soul grinders grinding up all these Cornish infantry. Or Cornish infantry. A Cornish person is a completely different thing. So Bloodthirster is, you know, getting munched on again, not doing too much. Trying to deal with these flamers of Tzeentch. Got the Flesh Hounds coming on in to deal with perhaps these pink horrors. But maybe this isn't the best idea. Maybe what KHORNE needs to do is, instead of sending more units in, constantly in the fight, one, you know, to get one by one to get munched on by all these range. Maybe he needs to consolidate his forces a bit.
One of your units has been
Because in this game mode, yes, you need the objectives. Yes, you need to defend the objectives. But if you lose your army, you're gonna lose permanently, right? So maybe if he held one objective, sits back, holds one objective, kind of builds up his forces, then goes for an attack. instead of sending them one by one. Now this is a good thing he should be doing. Yes, sending the flesh hounds around to try and outflank these pink horrors, while the other units distract the rest of the army. The thing is, KHORNE is ahead, so you know, not by too much. I don't think he's gaining any extra supply. That you know, TZEENTCH, that is. Here comes the Flamers of TZEENTCH again. Flamers of TZEENTCH being very strong. In this engagement, or this battle rather. Bloodletters, I'm not quite happy with the choice of the Bloodletters. They're constantly getting killed by these Soul Grinders. You know, when you realise you've got these Soul Grinders, you've got to bring in some, you know, more heavy. I wonder if he has any of the Blood Knights. I can't remember what they're called, not Blood Knights, but the cavalry for KHORNE. You could spawn the cavalry in from here, maybe. You can try and swing them around and deal with these pink horrors. That being said, there is some Chaos Knights of TZEENTCH on the field right now. I'm not really doing too much, just holding it, or rather trying to take that objective off KHORNE. KHORNE is at 3.9k. It is up to 5k, so it's looking like a TZEENTCH game currently, based on the triple cap. And again, if you look at this, no forces for the KHORNE, you know, faction. Just spawning in the Skull Crush. Here they are, Skull Crushers coming in, but maybe a bit too late. On the side of the Chaos Knights as well. Maybe wanted to bring these in a bit earlier. Now TZEENTCH is just kind of consolidating their forces around the mid and north point. They did capture the south one as well, but they don't have to hold this. They only have to hold the two. So they can just distract with these pink horrors, perhaps. I mean, these Skull Crushers are going to munch on these pink horrors. But you don't need to do anything. You really don't. He's got the benefits of holding the other objectives. He's ahead of points. And honestly, the triple cap is probably like fine now, but early on, if he got the triple cap, or one side got the triple cap, the other person would get more resources. So you don't outright want to, you know, steamroll through the points as quick as possible. You want to kind of take your engagements, win the engagements at first, and then deal with points. As long as you're ahead with like 2 objectives, that's perfectly fine. But we do have a TZEENTCH victory today. And yeah, maybe the choice for the Bloodletters weren't great. Take a look at the stuff here now. We do see that the Soul Grinders did quite well actually. And let's have a look at the reinforcement pool of each side. I'm curious to what each side brought. So the KHORNE player brought 5 units of Bloodletters as reinforcements, 5 units, and 4 units of Flesh Hounds. And these Bloodletters did not get their value. They are a quite expensive unit. 2 units of Skull Crushers, again, 2 units of Skull Crushers, which are very expensive to add into your reinforcements. And then all the TZEENTCH player did was just have loads of pink horrors and Flamers of TZEENTCH in reserve, with some Forsaken and Doom Knights. It was an interesting starting build for the Heralds of TZEENTCH, because you don't often see 2 double Soul Grinder, but the Soul Grinder felt like it did very well in this matchup. But at the same time, I could argue that this was because of the lack of halberds. Like, where are the halberds? You could definitely drop a couple of these Bloodletters in and switch some halberds. You don't need 2 Skull Crushers. I mean, you couldn't even afford the other one into the battlefield. So you know, what going for 1 Skull Crusher is fine. 2 I don't really recommend, and maybe getting more Flesh Hounds and Bloodhounds, Warhounds to fill in the gaps. Maybe another unit of Chaos Warriors with shields, because there was no Chaos Warriors shield. These dual weapon Chaos Warriors did no damage whatsoever. They didn't get a single kill. Okay, they did 49 damage, but yeah, they just got completely shredded. Skull Khan, like, the same thing, didn't get the value. Like, there was so much lack of value. 5 kills and they excited Bloodthirster. That should have been going on onto the range with the Bloodthirster. Maybe even try to tank, like, deal with those Soul Grinders while the Flesh Hounds that get spawned in deal with the horrors that come in. So maybe the choice of the build was incorrect for the KHORNE. But granted, remember that this is early access, so a lot of these are creators who haven't played this too much right now, so I wouldn't really judge them too harshly from this. I'm sure after a few games you can learn a lot. So yes, very good game, very nice game to cast. I'll definitely be doing more in the future, so if you enjoy casting, if you want me to cast some of your games when the game launches, then you can send replays via my Discord, which I'll link below, as well as keep an eye on the channel by subscribing for future casts. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the video, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.